Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Let's Taste with the Intrepid Wino. My name is James Scaresbrook and I'm excited to be looking for part 3 of a 3-part series on Mitchell Wines, Clare Valley based producer, very cult producer, well known for particularly their Riesling, but also making some very outstanding red wines. And the two wines I'm going to look at on this edition are part of a project that I think I actually saw when it first started, back when I was a wine buyer at King & Godfrey in Carlton. My red and white rep told me about I think it was the McNicol Shiraz was the first one I was introduced to. McNicol wines are, I believe, are ones that are not only of a high quality but are released later, so they have a little bit more age before they're released to the world. And possibly see Milky here. She's back on another edition. I think it's the first time for a while she's been on an edition of Let's Taste. Not particularly interested anyway. And so it has been quite a while since I've looked at any of the McNicol wines. I'm not sure if I've ever looked at the Riesling, possibly when I visited the cellar door back in 2011. So without further ado, let's start off with the 2009 McNicol Riesling, which has a recommended retail price of $45. If you haven't already, make sure to check out the last 2 editions of Let's Taste, where I look at a current release and a museum release. Mitchell wine. One was on Watervale Riesling. The other was on the Seven Hill Vineyard Cabernet Sauvignon. So I've already talked a little bit about the benefits of aging Riesling, and when you consider this wine is aged before it's even released, you are getting the benefit right off the bat. So you can see that there's a lovely rich golden, kind of a golden lime colour, which I think is partly to do with its age. It's extremely aromatic, really just leaping out of the glass, and it has that, it's sort of right on the cusp of young and old. I think there is some exuberant fruit there, some nice kind of ripe lime, lychee, orange blossom, some stone fruit as well. But you are starting to see that kind of bottle age character where the Riesling kind of picks up an oily, almost kerosene kind of character. I have seen previously some people suggest that is to do with ripeness. I'm not sure if that kind of kerosene character is something to do with ripeness, or how the fruit is either shaded by leaves or if it's not shaded, I can't remember. But it is something that you typically see with Riesling, mostly from only certain regions, Clare Valley probably being the most famous one. Yeah, it is quite potent on the nose, very floral. Very excited to see what it looks like on the palate, so let's taste. There's quite an amount of richness and syrupy notes as well. There is certainly some residual sugar. It is approaching off dry, in fact. This is it has a lot of ripeness on the palate. There's a lot more warmth than I saw in the Watervale Rieslings. Just looking at the label, this one is coming in at 13.5% alcohol, so decidedly riper for a Riesling, which usually sits at around 12 to 12.5% alcohol. This is certainly has to have something to do with vine age. Low yielding vines can tend to produce very concentrated fruit that does have good ripeness, good fruit concentration, whilst maintaining good acidity, and certainly this is the case with the McNicol 2009 Riesling. The acidity is sort of starting to drop away a little bit. And I think that's possibly what is missing from this wine. It's exceptionally drinkable. It is a great Riesling, but potentially this is not a great vintage in my estimation. The fruit is a little bit too forward, and the acidity is not quite there to kind of bring everything together and have it carry through across the palate. But still very good. $45, a bit tough. I think that the Water Vale Riesling for almost half the price is vastly superior. So the second one that we're going to look at from the McNicol family is the Shiraz. This one is from 2007. It has a recommended retail price of $50. Shiraz is another great variety for the Clare Valley. There are some absolute world-beating Shiraz and Shiraz-based wines from the region, from producers like Jim Barry and also from Winery. So I'm excited to see how the McNicol's looking. I think potentially the one that I saw was, I think, the 2002. And when you consider that 2011, that was 7 years ago, we've only seen 5 subsequent vintages of the McNicol. They seem to be releasing them with even more age now. So fairly typical colour for a mature or a Shiraz with some maturity. We're talking 11 years here. Sweet spices, cinnamon, cardamom. There is some sweet oak character here. You know, a lovely kind of spiced, salty vanilla note. Sweet red fruits, sweet tannins. Yeah, the kind of that slight bit of spicy, peppery note that I saw initially blows off quite quickly. So that is a more non-volatile aroma. As the wine opens up, you see more of those dark fruits and more chocolatey vanilla characters as well. And some floral notes there as well. Again, another inviting aromatic structure. Let's have a look at what it looks like on the palate. Let's taste. Very subdued, very soft and mellow. Absolutely a benefit of age. I think that this is right in the drinking window for this wine. I think that is something to do with the vintage 2007. From memory, was reasonably warm. You know, what I would expect the tannins to be in their youth. I would expect them to be, you know, reasonably intense and firm. That has kind of fallen away, and it is quite soft and elegant. The spice elements are very, very subtle. They're not a really big part of the wine. It certainly doesn't look particularly like a very warm climate Shiraz. I think that this is maybe what I would consider that to be a cool climate Shiraz in a warm vintage. So it's sort of sitting in a nice spot between those two extremes. I think for $50, this is pretty good. I do think Clare Valley Shiraz has a lot to offer. It has some nice focus on the front, but it does really just broaden out lovely. Very soft, very drinkable. Just a hint of savoury on the finish, but good drinking. Of course, there's a lot of Shiraz produced in Australia. It is a fairly competitive part of the market, the product, as far as product categories go. Talking from my wine marketing studies. So yeah, you need to be offering quite a lot, even at $50. So I think this is a pretty decent wine for that price. Yeah, look, the McNicol wines, I haven't tasted them extensively across vintages, so I'm not 100% sure what the kind of pedigree there is for these wines. And I can't really compare them against previous releases, but again, both of these wines are very solid. They're at a challenging price point. You really have to be delivering a lot at that price. I don't think that you're going to be disappointed, but potentially you're not going to be kind of blown away. Yeah, solid, but delicious. Of course, thank you to the Mitchell family for very generously sending me some samples. I'm really honoured to be able to taste wines here on my YouTube channel under the Let's Taste banner. If you'd like to see your wines profiled on Let's Taste with the Intrepid Wino, do get in contact with me via my website, intrepidwino.com. Whilst you're visiting the website, please do check out some of my other content, including my podcast, the Vincast, and lots of writing I've done in the past, including my blog, where I travel around the world visiting wine regions. Please, if you did like this video, hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, or hit the like button on the Facebook channel. Leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you, and share on social media. If you are on social media, follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I'm at Intrepid Wino. But guys, until next time, cheers.